Awesome. So my name is Stephen Tang. I'm currently 24 years old and studying a master's in clinical audiology at Macquarie University. So I was diagnosed relatively late by today's standards. So about 2.5, 3 years of age. I was born a little bit before the newborn hearing screening. So I was detected when my parents suspected that there was something wrong. And I've been aided bilaterally ever since. Yeah, so the way I look at it is that, like you said, it's very much so an invisible disability. Not everybody is going to know and or pick up on it. So I don't like to jump to conclusions. Now, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I tend to think that, I hide it very, very well. Not that I'm trying to hide it, but it's definitely not a thought that crosses a lot of people's minds when they meet me for the first time. I've had people who I've known for many years who only after a couple of years do they go, wait a minute, are you deaf? How can you hear me? Yeah, I think that just speaks volumes as to how often hearing loss is overlooked in a hearing world. Yeah, so using spoken language, it's definitely a masquerade of sorts. I don't know what the general consensus or perspective on what being deaf and or hard of hearing is to the normal hearing population, but being able to speak and being able to listen probably isn't at the top of that list. When I meet someone and I speak to them, whether that be in a friendly conversation or in more of a professional kind of scenario, when they find out I do have a hearing loss, a very common a bit of jargon from them is, "Oh wow, you've got very, very clear speech," and it's phenomenal. And I never know how to respond to that because obviously it's based on the hard work of the Shepherd Center and my parents and many, many years of dedication. But it does take me back, every so often where I go, what else did you expect from me? It's definitely like I said before, a kind of like masquerade for the general populace where if you can speak clearly, if you can listen, they just kind of assume that your hearing loss is a non-factor. Yeah, so this is very interesting. So I've seen this from every possible point of view, whether that be from a patient, from an audiologist, from a professional point of view and whatnot. But I think the biggest misconception is that hearing aids are very much so like glasses. You slip them on, bang, you're cured, you've got 20/20 hearing, as I like to call it. Obviously, that's not the case. Hearing loss is a spectrum for a lot of people, and hearing devices are designed to help, yes, but I compare it to having a really old analog TV where the picture might be dim, but it also might be a little bit out of focus. There might be some white noise. A hearing aid or a cochlear implant can turn up the brightness and turn up the contrast, so that makes it easier to see, obviously. However, that doesn't remove the snow or the noise that's in the signal. So that's the way I kind of like to explain it to people. In terms of other misconceptions I've had, particularly a funny one that comes to mind is I was traveling solo for one of the first times a couple of years ago. Went to the airport and I got asked if I needed a wheelchair, which obviously I totally do, yes. But no, I don't, and it's every time I think about it, it's absolutely comical. My ears might not be the brightest tools in the shed, but my legs work perfectly fine. But I mean, hey, one seems to think I need a wheelchair, so um, pretty funny. And there's another time when I went to a restaurant, and props to them for being very inclusive and progressive, but I was handed a braille menu of sorts. So you tell me, I find English hard enough, so obviously I don't know how to read braille, but yeah, it's just little things like that. Well, not so little, but things like that that sort of, I raised an eyebrow to. How are we still having that sort of a perspective in 2024? Yeah, like I said, everybody has their own perspectives and their own life experience. Everybody will have a different path on their journey with hearing loss. But if I could give one tip to anyone else, it'd be confident in who you are. You are absolutely a unique being, and there's no one size fits all in terms of what is correct, in terms of audiological care, in terms of strategies, in terms of connections, in terms of even the friends that you surround yourself with. But if you're confident in yourself and you know what you want in life, there is nothing that's going to stop you from getting there. And the way I see it is, like I said, live every single moment in life to the fullest. And if I can live life having fun, that's what I'm going to do. Boy, this is a tough one. What do I wish? Um, yeah, look, I think, like I said before, everybody's different. Hearing loss is not just, you can hear perfectly and/or the world is completely silent. It's a spectrum, and everybody falls somewhere along that spectrum. So, if you're interacting with someone who's deaf or has a hearing loss, ask them. They're going to be more than happy to tell you exactly what they need or what they want. And if you're the person with the hearing loss, make yourself heard. I know it's ironic, but you've got to put yourself out there. Let people know what you need, what you want. And from what I found, everybody is happy to support you, to accommodate you. The biggest challenge is obviously making yourself heard. So that's step number one. And like I said again to the general public, don't be afraid. I don't bite. I can't comment for everybody, but I know I would be more than happy to share my experience, what I wish people knew, and just generally have a chat about the topics of hearing loss and hearing health in general. So don't be a stranger, come say hi, and yeah, we'll go from there.